All right, hey guys, welcome back. We got another news feed here for you. This one, the feds give a green light to a $9 New York City congestion pricing plan. Clearing final bureaucratic hurdle starts basically on January 5th. 2025, and basically what it means is there will be a $9 toll for cars entering Manhattan below 60th Street. This is the world we live in. Now, I don't care too much about this because I'm probably never ever going back to New York ever again. I've been there a couple of times to shoot weddings in NYC and in the Hamptons, and I'm probably never ever going to go back if I can help it. However, here it is right here. This is a congestion zone, and the reason I'm showing you this is probably coming to a city near you shortly down the road. This will end up happening. We will see this more and more, but if you want to cross any one of these bridges into this orange zone of New York City, here's what it will cost you. In a passenger car, it'll cost you $9 every time you drive in here. Small truck, $14.40. Large truck, $21.60. I don't know what designates small truck, large truck. Motorcycles, $4.50. Taxi driver, 75 cents. And an app hire like Uber, that kind of stuff, you're at $1.50. Anytime to cross any one of these bridges into here, it is going to cost you this much money. Something kind of interesting, gives you a little thought of what the world's coming to and how things are, because as we know, Chicago, New York, and DC and California, basically, they set the stage, which is how all their major cities are going to run around the world. And here it is for you. Very interesting, and not something that I'm even remote. I do everything I can to avoid cities 100%. Even Atlanta. I don't ever want to go through Atlanta ever again. I have to, but I could spend the rest of my life very happily never stepping foot in Atlanta ever again. Same with Detroit when I lived in Michigan. I just don't care for cities anymore. I don't want to be a part of them. Now, moving on from there, this one right here, the interesting one we got coming in right here. Speaking of cities, Scout Motors totes jobs, shows off new vehicle design in South Carolina. South Carolina is where the new Scout Motors factory is and where it's being built right now and where they are going to produce the Scout vehicle. It will be made there. It is an extension of VW, okay, but we'll learn here in a minute that it's not quite the same. It is under the Volkswagen umbrella, but they're not real happy about it. Okay, we'll dive into this in a minute here. But looking at right here, what we got going on, okay, they say it right here. Okay, Scout Motor vehicles will be made at the Volkswagen subsidiary's $2 billion electrical vehicle assembly plant in north of Columbia, South Carolina. So what they're going to do here, they brought them out. They were showing them to everybody. They're building their factory there. This project supported by $1.3 billion in taxpayer funding, which will cover the cost of road improvements, new interstate interchange, and a rail spur and site work. That included drilling 300,000 holes and filling them with stone to create underground pillars that will stabilize the soil and hold the weight of the factory. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty nuts. But South Carolina is also low country. A lot of it is low country there, okay? Scout so far employs 250 people in South Carolina. They're expecting, though, those numbers will double over the next year as the company continues to push towards production at the end of 26 or early 27. When full capacity, Scout is expected to employ 4,000 people. And this is pretty cool here. And I want to be clear as people talk about jobs, said Scout CEO Scott Kioff, whatever that name is. Unlike other jobs that don't pay livable wages, these are real jobs. That's pretty cool. We don't know what that means, but it's pretty cool. In his presentation, he touted figures showing Scout factory floor workers will earn 40% more disposable income compared to the rest of the general working population in Northeast Richland and the surrounding rural counties. It's pretty impressive. They're talking some pretty good things here that people are going to love. And then they're saying that it's going to transform Midlands and South Carolina. Big changes here. It's going to be a big project. It's going to employ a lot of people. And they're also saying Scout suppliers, some of which will be located on the assembly plant site, will likely bring an additional 5,000 jobs. A big portion of those will be filled by South Carolinians. So you're looking at 4,000 employed at Scout, another 5,000 employed at suppliers of all tiers and suppliers that'll be there. That's 9,000 jobs brought to this area. And that's pretty amazing. That is straight up pretty amazing. So very cool things coming out of this thing. I like what Scout's going to be doing. We're going to talk about Scout again in 1 second here for you, because VW is kind of mad at Scout. And for good reason, but on the same note, I like what Scout's thinking here. So we're going to dive into that right now. But, you know, this is pretty awesome what they're bringing to South Carolina here to help boost that economy. Now, this one, Scout it out, okay? There's little hope for VW dealers waiting on a pickup truck to sell. So when we knew that Scout was coming out, and it's a Volkswagen truck, it's made by Scout, is owned by Volkswagen. A lot of Volkswagen dealers were like, yes, we're going to get him. So you got all these VW dealers in the United States. They're waiting. They can't wait to get a Scout on their floor. Okay, and we'll read the article in a second. Let's look at some of these pictures of this thing. So they were all excited to make this happen. You know, they wanted this, you know, they couldn't wait to get these vehicles in, you know, get them here, get them set up. You know, probably would have been treated like the Bronco, where they would have been building whole new facilities and a whole new showroom based around the Scout, like what they did with the Bronco. All this kind of stuff that they had planned. You get two versions of this Bronco, okay? You get the Terra, which is the pickup truck, and then you get the other one, the Traveler's a pickup truck. One's the SUV, one's the pickup truck. We'll look at the exact names here in a second. I was just showing you some pictures real fast. But see, this is a VW truck that's in other places that they're trying to make and bring out, okay? It's kind of like a Ford collaboration, I believe, is how this one's coming about as well, too. So there's some things happening with that. But as far as Scout, let's get out of the pictures, return to article. Here it is. But Scout, so basically, does it say which ones are which? Right here, okay? You have there's two in the portfolio. The Scout Terra pickup truck and the Scout Traveler SUV, okay? So those are your vehicles, but they are not going to go to VW dealers. Instead, they are going to be sold direct to consumer, just like Tesla is. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen here. But basically, that's what they're saying. Because Scout is part of the larger Volkswagen group, the automaker feels like that segment is covered. But because Scout is considered a separate brand in the U.S. with a specific customer base, Volkswagen dealers don't get to sell them. Right here. Scout wants to sell directly to consumers and bypass dealerships, leading to a heated argument between automakers and its partners in the U.S. But if that's what ends up happening and Scout ends up going the route of Tesla, they will be direct to consumer. That may be good for some, may be bad for others. For me, I can't stand the whole direct consumer to consumer ideas. I know some people love it, but for me, I need to be able to negotiate prices down very well so I can get good deals. You can't negotiate on direct to consumer. So I can't negotiate there like I can at a dealership. I'd much rather be able to fight with a dealer to get the price lower. People that don't negotiate and they just walk in and pay MSRP or whatever the rebate is, sign on the line and they're good, they will like direct-to-consumer because they don't have to deal with a dealer. Me personally, like I said, I'll be very bummed out. But the Scout's coming in with some very solid prices. We know they're not going to be overcharging and ridiculous. We like what they're doing here. We like the direction they're going. I like everything about it. And we don't know for sure if this direct to consumers and bypass the dealership will actually happen, but it would be smart for them to do it. They could have the VW dealerships actually do the service on them, prep work, things like that, but you could buy it sell it direct to consumer. I don't know how this is going to be. And they got a year and a half to figure it out and get it sorted before these things start getting made, 2 years before they're made. But very interesting what's going on with this and the potential for direct-to-consumer for Scout, like it or not. So put your comments down below. Thanks for watching.